Shin Han Tech Pro League for long, obviously. I am Kix. I will be your host, caster, and organizer for the STPL, and I am the solo caster today because unfortunately Rapid did have some other stuff he needed to get done, so it's just me today. So hopefully it's going to go okay. I was nearly a little bit late, so I'm kind of glad I started pretty close to the time. I had something weird happen, but it's all good now, and we can get, well, I forgot what to say. My mind is absolutely screwed today, and it's all good. And today is Tuesday. Yes, it is. I know the overlay says Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but I can't cast on Friday this week, so I'm gonna have to do Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So that'll all get sorted out afterwards. Go over our months. Oh man, it's August, man. Wait, no, it's July still. It's August tomorrow. But either way, we have some cool STPL action coming up today for you. We're going to have most likely 2 series. If they are incredibly long games in the first series, I'll save the other one for Saturday. But let's see what maps we're going to be seeing today. Okay, so in set 1 we're going to have New Sniper Ridge. Set 2 is going to be Hitchhiker. Set 3, Neo Electric Circuit. Set 4, Neo Aztec. And Set 5, the Ace match, is going to be on Return of the King. Now to announce our first matchup for today, let's have a look at who our 2 teams are going to be. So on the left we do have PSi They are not the same PSi as the StarCraft 2 team, but they are still a really cool team to be around. Not too many problems caused by them or anything. They haven't had the best results throughout the tournament, but they certainly have a lot of spirit, and that's what they're going to be bringing to the table today. In the previous round, a lot of the losses were actually really late in the sort of brackets, so they would get to the ace match and then lose that. But unfortunately, not the best score from them. But they're going to be looking to make their way onto that table, get their way a little bit closer to the playoffs. Now, if they do want to make the playoffs for round 2, they are going to at least have to win their next 4 games. I think it is. Yeah, so 4 games. I think they'll need to win to make it. And are they going to be able to do it? The team that's against them here, trying to stop them, trying to get their own name on the board, is one of the newest teams to the STPL, joined at the beginning of round 2, and it is BuLL. Now BuLL are 0 for 3, but they've also had some pretty close series as well. Unfortunately, they've been up against some tough opponents, and arguably... And ironically, I got asked if I could tell you what sound a cow makes. I cannot, but BuLL will be able to show you what sound a bull makes as we move on to our first set of games here. Now, if we have a quick look, we'll be able to see what matches we're going to have coming up. So we're going to have a PvT between Marine and Raynor, a PvT between Praise and Fly Mio. In fact, I believe... that we may have a walkover in that set, so I need to find out from our team captain, Grast, to see what the result of that. I don't have a replay for that game, so... And then we're going to move on to a ZVZ between Mitak and Dark. And then finally, for the 4th set, if we don't make it to the ace match, it's going to be a PvT between Headmaster and Flash, and that should be a fairly good one as well. So, let's have a quick look at our first 2 players and see how they've been doing so far. That's the wrong screen. There we go. So, as you can see, Marine has done... He did okay last round. He did lose against a lot of good players. He did go 1 for 4. And he is 0 for 1 at the moment. But this is going to be his chance at redemption. And he is certainly going to be looking for it here in our first game of the series. He is a race picker. He plays PvT, ZVP, and TVZ. So he makes my overlay really struggle. So that's why I had to change his race before the game. But here we go. He is going to be up against Raynor. Now, Raynor has done a pretty good job for his team so far. BuLL are 0 for 3, but Raynor has managed to win one of their games, so he is 1 for 1 at the moment in this round, and he's actually 1-0 up against his opponent's race. Now that is TVP, of course, and let's have a look at what map they are going to be playing on. So it's going to be new Sniper Ridge, slightly different from the old version. You can see that the Rampelsa, the natural, no longer connects on to the third base. That was changed back in 2010 for the 2010 to 11 Shinhan Bank Pro League. And here it is in the Shinhan Tank Pro League 8 years later, and Marine and Raynor are going to be looking to try and put on a show for us here in our first game of the series. So it's round 2, week 4, game 1, set 1 between pSi and BuLL. It's Marine versus Raynor. Let's head on over to the game and let's see how this is going to go this week. Okay, and starting us off here in the bottom right hand 5 o'clock position, we do have the red Protoss fighting for pSi. It's going to be Marine. Now his opponent down here in the bottom left hand 7 o'clock position, it's going to be the blue Terran fighting for BuLL. It's going to be Raynor. Now one thing I do need to watch out for is I'm slightly dehydrated today, so I need to be careful on my voice. So if there are a few moments where there's a little bit more pause than usual, that will be why. But it'll be interesting to see how both the players are going to play this here. And it looks like Marine is going to play pretty standard at least, so that should be pretty good. Raynor is going for a wall off early on. There's going to be a barracks to the left of that depot. That's going to give him 2 spaces to be able to micro his Marines against any Zealots. That's very, very important early game. Now, is Marine going to go for 2 gates, or is he going to go for 1 gate gas core? That'll be a big decision for him to make in this game. He's going to go for a gateway scout, which will give him a good bit of information. Now, is Raynor going to build his gas, or is he going to go for that command center? Now, not building your barracks and your depot at your natural makes it very difficult to go for that 1 Rex FE, and that's exactly what he's not doing. He's going for that gas. Going to be able to get his factory up fairly quickly. He'll likely add his factory on to the end of this wall just to make that wall even better. And meanwhile, back in Marine space, we do see the gas has come up. We should see a Cybernex core come in here very shortly as well. And he is going to be looking forward into this series. Here we go. So core coming up. Both teams just scouting around. And not really too much to say right now. Don't have anyone to bounce off of today. Rapid, unfortunately, was, I believe, busy. Something came up, so not really too much I can do about that, unfortunately. But here we go. Solar casting yet again, and should be fine with me. I just want to make sure people get to watch the games, no matter how many people it is. And it looks like Raynor just being a little bit annoying, trying to force out some kind of reaction from a probe. Now, it does take a very, very long time for this SCV to cut the pylon, but eventually the probe is going to want to go for this. So it looks like he's going to push him away. Doesn't want to lose his pylon. Just got to be careful sometimes, because you never know what's going to happen. Sometimes things can go very, very awkward, and that's not good. Like, you really don't want that as a Protoss player. And there we go, the SCV just being annoying as possible, trying to do what a Protoss player would normally do to the Terran. But the probe scouts him last, so that's gonna get it anyway. Okay, so the probe gets in the main. Is it going to be able to do too much in terms of harassment? It doesn't look like it. It's going to try and hide behind the minimap, but it will get away. But these Marines are doing a very, very good job chasing this down. Great, great moves by Raynor. Meanwhile, back in Marines base, it looks like this SCV might get away. No, the last shot does go down and takes that down, but not before Raynor sees that it's one gate core and the second pylon is in the main. So he's going to be feeling pretty good about this. He wouldn't have seen the third pylon, but he will be able to assume it's either going to be tech or an expansion. And it'll be very important for him to actually send an SCV to figure this out. Because sometimes you can find yourself in a very awkward position where you don't know what the Protoss player is doing. As I found out yesterday on my ladder stream, where I lost a lot of games against early game Protoss stuff. So TVP in the early game, not the easiest of matchups. I know that Flash makes it very, very simple. But Flash makes every matchup simple. Like, you can't really base anything off of that. But Marine not being too aggressive with his Dragoons. He does, I believe, know how to play TVP as well. It's just he chooses to race pick instead of playing TVT. But then again, he also race picks the other matchups as well. So I'm not entirely sure what his deal is, but he only likes certain matchups. Sorry, I just had to quickly message Psygrass. Now, looks like Raynor is going to be able to push down his ramp. He's going for a very short and sweet FD here. He's actually gone for 2 tanks first, so this is mainly going to be defensive. He wants to make sure that he does, or is able to get his command center up quickly. And he did fly it down. Now that's actually going to land on top of the SCV. Now with me, that would have cancelled it, but due to the lack of... Oh, this could actually be pretty good for Marine. Obviously, Raynor does not have vision of this. Yes, he does. The Dragoons are a little bit too far down. But this is going to be so annoying for Raynor to have to deal with. He loses Marines. There are still 2 left, and the Vulture is going to help this push out. But by using these mines defensively, he's lost a lot of power moving forward, but he's still pushing. I'm really surprised by this. He's actually run his tanks into the worst possible position, and this could be a very, very bad move by Raynor. This is going to completely cut his unit count entirely, and there is going to be nothing left at home to defend. He does have a couple of mines, which is going to deter the Dragoons for now. He does have his observatory coming up as well, and he does have a 3rd gateway, so Marine is going to still feel pretty good about that. The tank count is completely reset. Raynor's economy is not as good as it could have been because he didn't go for a 1 Rex FE or anything like that. But he is going to be able to add a 2nd factory. But it's highly unlikely we're going to see a timing attack coming from him anytime soon. But still, Raynor still trying to do what he can. Does scout out this probe that was trying to build the 3rd, but somehow the probe survives the 1 second or so. All he doesn't get it, the probe is going to live. That is such a huge moment from Rain in this game, but the few seconds that he left the shield to regenerate was actually enough to save the probe from the 2nd Vulture shot. So that is incredibly unfortunate by Raynor, and incredibly fortunate by Marine. He's not going to have to send another probe, and there's absolutely no chance of that being stopped now by any Vultures. So really, really nice job by him. Yeah, we do actually have the engineering base scouting over here, but is it going to see... I thought that was a shuttle for a second, but not quite. We still do have Raynor just moving around with his Vultures. Just trying to lay as many mines as possible. This is mainly for this map vision. You can see he's got pretty good vision over the map at the moment. Marine, of course, does have good vision as well. He does finally have some observers. This is going to allow him to push forward, but he has to be careful. No missile turret there, and interestingly, he's not chosen to go and look at the factory count. So, knowing the fact that his opponent's units did die, he's going to feel pretty good, but he should be careful that there could be a timing attack. To come off of this, you can pull some SCVs with it as well to make it a little bit stronger. But here we go, the extra observer is moving in now. The mines are going to get cleaned up, and Marine is going to be able to finally put some pressure on. Now the tanks are dangerously close to that high ground, and of course he will not have vision over this, so until this barracks gets here, he is completely blind. Now it looks like we're going to have another turret coming up here. Are we going to see a 3rd command center anytime soon? Quite possibly this Vulture should probably look at going into this base, otherwise it's not going to be able to get any damage done. But the third base location being taken by Marine, just making it incredibly annoying to try and expand. Now, Raynor is going to go for those scans. He does scan the main, checking what tech, how many gateways there are as well. And gonna see some transferring probes, so he should know that the third base is coming up. And maybe he can look to apply a little bit of pressure, but with only 4 factories and losing all of his tanks before, that's going to be very difficult. He's also supply blocked at the moment. And now he's going to use this opportunity to try and build a command center, but he needs to be careful. Marine has units all over the place right now. And just a single set of Dragoons can absolutely ruin his day. He doesn't have that many tanks. He only actually has two machine chops, which isn't necessarily a terrible thing, but of course it is scouted out now. He's going to use his vultures to try and defend against this, but he really needs to move his tanks up and quickly. Oh, nice mines though! A huge mine going down on top of all of the Dragoons! And a little bit of miss micro by Marine is going to cost him dearly. Another mine going off. An absolute annihilation of the Protoss Dragoons outside the front. And this is going to give Raynor the opportunity to move forward. And he's going to lay some offensive mines. Try and block this push coming in. And here we go, the tanks are sieging on the high ground. There's still only 4 tanks. Another 2 in reserve. Is this going to be enough units to help defend against this? There is a shuttle. He drops it on top. Drops 2 Vulture Zealots there as well. And it looks like the Dragoons trying to get on top of these tanks, but not doing enough. And it looks like a great move. A great counterattack by Raynor could possibly give BuLL a very early lead in this series, but it looks like we've still got more units flooding in by Marine. He does have up to 5 gateways now, adding on a 6th. But is this going to be enough? Looks like we're going to have a turret added here as well, just for good measure. A really, really deep tank line, just making it very difficult for Marine to ever get a proper engagement. Now, we do have a lot of SCVs transferring over here. He should take that gas as soon as he can. But the real story at the moment is how is Marine going to oust Raynor from this position. I almost feel like Marine didn't get enough gateways quick enough. And there we go, he's adding on another 2, possibly even another one as well. But going to add the Templar Archives, going up to his Stargate, going to see the Arbiter Tribunal coming in very shortly as well. And unfortunately for him, 2 of his all-important pylons are actually blocking his Dragoons from getting out of his base. And this is very awkward for him. Now, an actual very good move, which does seem a little bit risky, would be for Raynor to take this base. It's going to be near impossible for anything to be done about it. Now, an observer having a look, seeing what it can see, does know there's turrets there again. And we're kind of in an odd position because neither player really wants to push forward. Marine is doing his best. Oh, Raynor's doing his best. He's sieging all his tanks, repairing them as well. That Dragoon's finally broken its way out. No, it hasn't. Unfortunately for him, another pylon is going to go down now. He does need to add another one, otherwise this is not going to be powered, I believe. And then we adds that immediately. Would actually be better to possibly pick that up. But here we go, we have the engagement coming in. Is this going to be enough Protoss units? He's trying to come in from multiple angles. There's actually a cannon up there. Sorry, that's actually Raynor trying to move in. Now, as you can see, there's just too many Terran units in such a good position. Now, a nice minefield out the front. Gonna help do a lot of damage to these Zealots, but great splitting by Marine. And here we go, could we have a big mine drag on top of the tanks? The Zealots are all on top of the tanks, there's absolutely nothing here to defend. And despite the fact Raynor having a great position, there's just not enough units here to defend. And Marine has managed to break his way out. He's saved his third base. The Nexus is no longer under siege. There's still units here though. But there's so many Protoss units coming in to try and finish off this army by Raynor. Is this going to be enough? Zooming out just a little bit to have a look here. And the mine's buying a lot of time for those tanks. Now, of course, he does still have his turrets. He still doesn't have a 4th baseman, neither does Marine. But the longer this goes on, the more it is going to favor Marine. He's going to be able to get more and more units. He's getting his Stargate in as well. We should see some Storm coming up here just to help deal with those clumps of tanks. and Raynor is forced to try and rebuild his army. He still only has 6 factories, trying to add a 7th now, should be up to about 9 by this point. He is of course on 3 gas. I almost feel like that's slightly too far over. Looks like he's trying to push in with some vultures, try and do a little bit of damage. But not really able to do too much. We do have pSi Marine looking to take his 4th base now. Double shuttles actually coming in, but he doesn't have shuttle speed. And it looks like the Dragoon's getting a little bit too forward. And here we go, they're going to get trapped by the vultures. Unlike my vultures, these ones do a lot of damage. And here we go, a great mine going down off on the Dragoons. And the units of Marine are just being completely cut down over and over again. And here we go, looks like the vultures have actually scoured out this 4th base. They are going to be able to clean up this Dragoon, this probe, and they will eventually be able to take down that Nexus, but it's going to take them a while. You see Raynor has added on some more buildings out here to try and help defend against this while he pushes in. But he's not actually doing any damage at the moment. He's killing a few units, sure, but he's not taking out any bases. And the bases are what are giving Marine the chance to come back in this game. And now, of course, we do have another engagement coming in. Is this going to be enough? Looks like Marine is going to go around the army. He can actually just run past here and just completely ignore this Terran force. That could be fairly dangerous. There's actually no defenses whatsoever, really, in the main. But he has to make sure he holds on to this. This is the last real bastion of hope he has of staying in this game. Raynor has done a great job with his production. You can see despite having so few factories for a very long time, he's up in supply once again, and he just has so many vultures doing so much damage. And there's absolutely nothing Marine can do. It looks like Marine is going to try and go for that counter. He does have an observer, but it's not going to be able to see absolutely everything. Tanks have moved in to help this as well. Zealots actually being bombed on top of the Zealots. Not the best decision. But here we go. Looks like we've got some Zealots running in. Mine! Oh, that could have been a big mine drag on all the remaining units. Here we go. They get taken out by the Vulture at the last second, and all of the Zealots have gone down. And with that, I believe this could be Marine's hopes in this game, unfortunately. But he is trying to chase down some of these tanks. But just look at how big of an army Raynor still has, and Raynor finally taking this middle base, and this base barely ever gets taken. He knows he's so far ahead, he knows he's got a good defendable position there, but still the Protoss units have broken through slightly. They're trying to take down as many of these tanks as possible. The Vulture's interestingly not laying any mines on these Dragoons, but finally the Protoss army has been cleaned up, but not without heavy losses from our Terran player. Now it looks like the Dragoons are actually breaking through this contain, and slowly but surely Marine is cleaning this up. Now he does have a lot of money, but he doesn't really have anything to spend it on. He is going into Arbiters finally, but then maybe a little bit too little too late. I know Rapid would be here and he'd say this is probably over, but it could still go either way. Raynor has lost a lot of tanks, he's lost a lot of units, and all that's really keeping in the game right now is all these extra buildings and these few tanks defending his 4th base. And now of course Marine does not have a 3rd or a 4th anymore. He is going to be very low in his main, as you can see here, actually mining out his main now, and his natural is almost mined out as well. So he is going to have to get a base up. He is on a completely ticking clock. There is no time left for him. And can he hold on? Can he take that 3rd base again? Looks like we do finally have that Arbiter out, but there is turrets absolutely everywhere at the moment, and a scan going down for good measure as well. Now here we go, we have the Protoss units trying to move in. A great mine going down on the Dragoons again, doing a lot of damage. The Arbiter not actually cloaking anything. Could be a huge mistake, but Marine, despite all odds, is actually breaking through the Terran siege line. But here we go, there's more tanks on the high ground, and Marine's army is absolutely annihilated once again. And it looks like Raynor's finally done it. Marine on borrowed time is running out of minerals, running out of hope. And here we go, this is his last attack here into the Terran siege line. He's trying to get Zealots on top of everything, but the Shells just don't have anything in them. He's not making use of these shells, and this could be a huge, huge mistake. We have more of Raynor's units coming in. Is it going to be enough from Marine, or does Raynor just have too much here? Oh, this could be a huge mine if this mine goes off. In fact, he may not even need the mine. He gets one anyway. And this is where we really do have to learn our alphabet, because I believe there is absolutely no hope by Marine. He still has some zealots though, and he's still going to try and make what he can of what he's got. He's still got a few minerals left. I think he's barely got enough to build a nexus, and it is do or die for him. He could be waiting for stasis. Looks like he actually ran out of energy, so... Oh, that's not something you can afford to be losing as Marine right now. The tanks out the front doing an absolutely stellar job. And it looks like we're going to have a 5th base coming in now. An Arbiter coming in from behind. I'm not sure whether or not he's trying to go for a recall. I don't think it's really going to make too much of a difference, because the second he recalls, Raynor can just move in the front. But he's going to go for it. We do have Vultures scouting this out, so it's not going to be completely unknown by Marine, by Raynor. Raynor's actually scouting around, and here we go. The last push, the last bastion of hope here by Marine as he moves his zealots into the tanks. If only he could get a zealot back there, but no, he can't. There's not going to be a big mine drag here, and it looks like this is going to be game. Raynor just has far too many units. He's got 1-1 upgrades against the 2 attack of the Protoss player, but there's just no more units left. He has a Templar. It doesn't even have enough for Storm, and neither of them do. And here we go. The final remaining units are going to go down. GG! And Raynor is going to take down Marine in the first game of the series. Now that was certainly an interesting game. We did have a lot of action going on pretty much all over the place. I mean, there's not really